Doctor, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I want to talk to you about what happened.
What about it?
You know that I was with you in your next regeneration, and I mean what he said to me.
Careful, Sammy. You don't want to tell me too much about what he told you. About my future. Do you understand?
I know, but if it would help you understand.
I understand many things. I've lived a very long time. Perhaps longer than anyone should. But one thing you must understand is that the man you met was not me. Not in the sense of the way I am right now. In the way that I think. He has the same experiences, of course, knowledge, and the intellect of all my regenerations. But in fact, he is nothing like me.
He told me how he felt about me. About our time together. He told me everything.
It is irrelevant.
Irrelevant?
Sam, this is very difficult for me. More than I ever imagined. I've faced many obstacles in my life. But this one, it's complicated. Don't you see that?
Yes. Unfortunately, I do.
Okay, so our guest is Julian Bane, the star of the cool new Doctor Who fan film called Alternate Empire. How you doing, Julian?
Good, thank you.
Now, I was going to ask you about how you became a Doctor Who fan. Are you an old school guy, or did you come in through the new series?
Oh, I came in with Tom Baker. My God.
Yeah.
I was probably 12.
Oh, yeah.
When I started watching, and you know what, I think the first episode I've ever seen was The Pirate Planet.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, and it caught me, like, immediately. I just knew, like, this is the best sci-fi. And I had seen Star Trek, and I was into Captain Kirk and the Star Trek stuff. But when Doctor Who, there was something really extremely special about it. Even given the fact that the monsters were made out of paper mache.
Right.
And even 12-year-olds could tell,
Yeah.
And, it was just amazing. The characters, amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a free. And then I realized that, and of course I didn't know anything about acting back then, it just kind of hit me that, like, the Doctor sort of stands for something you want to aspire to, even as a person in regular life,
Right.
So, yeah, and then I started buying the books. I bought the comic books, and I would watch it with my brother, and I would tape it, and I'd catch it. And then all of a sudden, Tom Baker was going to leave, and Peter Davison started, and he was also incredible.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that two completely different guys, were playing the same character, but...
Yeah, that never happened on Star Trek.
That's right. So it never switched like that. But with Doctor Who, it was great casting right on. And even with Colin Baker, to me, he was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a big Colin fan.
Change, but I thought they kind of went off a little bit when they got Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah.
I think it started going downhill, but it wasn't his fault. It was more the writing, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, around what year was that? Do you remember? That you first started watching with Tom Baker?
When I was 12, that was in 1979.
Okay. You saw it even earlier than me. I didn't start seeing it till around 83 or so.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because that's when I lived in the St. Louis area, and that was when it was first broadcast on PBS at the time.
Right, on PBS.
Yeah.
Back in the East Coast, well, maybe yours took a little longer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, different parts of the country definitely got it earlier. Sounds like you guys must have been some of the earliest to get those episodes over there.
Yeah, I think it was the artist. I think New York and Philadelphia got it pretty good. But we used to get the half-hour ones,
Yeah.
The full episode. So you'd have to wait. You're like, oh, God, I have to watch only half an hour of this.
Well, so give me a little thumbnail of your background as far as, like, acting and everything. Have you always lived out there in California?
No, I was in Philadelphia, and then I came out here about 1992, 93.
Uh-huh.
And I started taking directing classes and art classes. I used to draw.
Oh, cool.
And I used to take directing classes, and then I started taking them, and then one of the teachers told me, you should find out, in order to direct better, find out what an actor goes through, so you eventually, when you know what to tell him, he's going through, and you can get to the product better.
Right.
So then I said, okay, so I took a UCLA acting class at nighttime, like a 1 day a week thing. And as soon as I started doing it, you know, it's completely different than directing, and you're like, but I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
It's an incredible feeling, you know. And I did a couple monologues. I even tried to Shakespeare. I'm sure I was terrible, but I kind of fell in love with it, and I was like, you know what? I can always get to the directing when I want to later.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can give this a shot, you know. And,
yeah.
And even in the meantime, if nothing happens with acting, the one thing that I think even anybody would get is you kind of get like a self-awareness thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it kind of helps your personality. I'm like very outspoken. I was already pretty outspoken, but now I can speak in front of 100 people without flinching.
Right.
You know, it's not a problem. I wouldn't be self-aware or start shaking or be like, or stuttering. I mean, because because you use that in theater, you know, as soon as you start doing theater, you know, you're going to make mistakes and you forget lines or the other character forgets a line, and you got to be really present in front of like 200, 300 people and not start going, uh-oh. So it was great, and again, I was really good at it, and I remember starting taking, and I thought, how do I get really good at this, you know? So I looked at actors and what they did, and my favorite actors were always English.
Well, right.
Kind of at the time, and like Gary Oldman, Jeff Bridges also. But then I realized these guys all did Shakespeare that I was looking at. So I started taking Shakespeare, and I took that for a year.
Yeah.
And I did that. I did a bunch of plays. Did Macbeth. I did, how many? The Tempest. Anyway, I went on to that, and then I went on to more acting, and kind of left the directing aside.
Yeah.
Until I found something I wanted to do or work with some other guys that I met, and that did happen. I did direct some shorts before.
Yeah.
Through friends and stuff, and then I went to a lot of acting school. I wanted to make sure I was really good, or at least, you know, got a handle on it, and I could tackle some of the characters I want to play.
Sure.
Now, as far as success is concerned in the industry, it's tough.
Yeah.
And I did do a lot of TV roles.
Oh, yeah.
No one's going to recognize it because I did it under a different name.
Oh, okay.
So it won't pop up or anything.
Oh, okay.
Like I did do a Star Trek Deep Space Nine one time.
Really?
I did ER and The District.
Now, why did you do those under a different name?
Because I was getting typecast.
Oh, okay.
On the audition process, my agent would send me out to things, and they would ask me for an accent, either a Spanish accent or an Italian accent or a Brazilian accent.
Right.
Given my name, and I was like, I can't play the stuff that I want. They don't even give me a shot.
Right.
I would get into the office. They're like, no, you're going to try for this one. The other one, we're going to, you know, get a blonde hair, blue eye guy.
All right.
And then I changed it. And that's when I started getting, like, detective roles.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, this works, you know. It actually worked.
So Julian Bane is a stage name?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because I actually was going to ask you that, because it's just such a cool-sounding name. It's almost like a name an actor would choose for himself if he was going to have a stage name.
Only Julian was my middle name.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, what last name is not ethnic?
Right.
You know? And that would like be great for sci-fi.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how it came up. I think I was looking at Eric Bana and Christian Bale. I'm like, something in the B's.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, there's that difference. I don't try to push that, of course, because people kind of go, oh, that's not his real name. He's not a real person, you know.
Right.
I don't usually talk about it. I don't think any actor does.
Yeah.
You know, Tom Cruise is not a real name.
Oh, is that not his name either?
No.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's a lot. You'd be surprised.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean...
Michael Keaton is not his last name.
Oh, I think I've heard that before, yeah.
Yeah. Douglas.
That's funny. But, you know, I can completely understand that. You know, it's...
but I did it a long time ago. I didn't do it now. And
okay.
What else? So then I decided to do... I did a bunch of stuff, and then I was like, you know, I'm going to work on some of my own stuff. Then I did I started with a production of The Time Machine, the H.G. Wells' The Time Machine.
Right.
Yeah, and I did that in 2008. So
now that was that a short film or
what?
Was that a film version or a film project?
No, we rewrote the book into a stage play.
Oh, stage play, okay.
Yeah, into a stage play. So we did a play, and it ran about an hour long. It was 80 pages. It was quite a bit to do.
Yeah.
I produced everything. I built everything, and I had built the costumes and the props, and so we did it. It was fantastic. Then I thought, after its run, which was great, I thought, it's too bad that it's not on film or anything, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was such a great character to play. And then I thought, what can I do that will stick a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
That'll be there if somebody asks, like, what have you done in the last 3 years, you know?
Right.
And, so I thought, well, you know, Doctor Who's similar. And I've always loved the character.
Right.
So I tried them out, and then I started thinking about what I was going to be writing, and I looked at a bunch of short stories, and, you know, was I going to try an English accent or not?
Yeah.
And then I just decided not to and just do it my own way.
Yeah.
And, you know, just do the best I can under the circumstances.
Sure. Sometimes, you know, it's always a little odd to have a doctor with an American accent, but really sometimes it's just too painful listening to people attempt, you know, not anything against your skills, but just in general fan film doctors who try the English accent, a lot of times it's a little, you kind of just wish they hadn't tried.
Yeah, I think it comes back the other way. I think the British do an American accent a lot better than Americans do British.
Yeah. Sometimes though,
out that way.
A lot of the big Finish stuff, I think they go way over the top with those American accents sometimes.
Right. Yeah, they do. They push it.
Yeah.
What they think it sounds like. But like even looking at it now after the fourth episode, I would. Now looking back, there was a couple things I would change about it. I would change his voice a little bit.
Yeah.
And make it a little more classic.
Yeah.
And that can be done.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think there's anything to worry about on that count. I think your performance is just fine. I think it's definitely working in the context of the story.
Yeah, it's a little rougher than I think people are used to.
Well, I was actually going to ask. There's no writer credited anywhere. Did you write the script?
I wrote the script.
Okay.
Yeah. I just didn't want focus on it, you know.
Yeah, I didn't want to take one more credit saying Julian Bane.
Yeah, just saying, oh, he wrote it, he produced it, he did this, he did that, and you see like my name 50 times.
Yeah.
And the scrolling is like, oh, whatever. It's like a one-man show.
That's often a drinking game you play with fan films. It's how many times do you see the same guy's name in the credits over and over again.
Mine, you would see it about 15 times, but I'm like, you know, I just want 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, these things often tend to be 1 or 2 or 3 man shows, you know, so.
Yeah, because you have to do many different jobs because you can't pay them.
Right.
You know, it gets very expensive. You know, the film that I did got to $1,500 a day.
Wow, really?
So, and that's with, you know, crew and food and truck and lighting and camera and extra packs and, oh, it's just amazing the stuff that comes up, you know. It's all of a sudden you got like, okay, I can do this for $5,000, and then you can't.
Yeah.
It turns into 8.
Wow.
Within like one day, okay, it's going to cost 8.
So did you just
and then part of the camera guy that was working with it, he lost some of the footage.
Oh, yikes.
And for the last episode. So we had to go back and reshoot a whole half day. And that's like another $1,000 right there.
Wow. So are you financing this all out of your pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, it's a project that I've always wanted to do, and I'm like, I need something out there that's my own.
Sure.
And so, you know, if I can't wait, I just didn't want to wait for somebody else to come around and say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that?
Right. Well, let's kind of go through it a little more detail. So I know you worked on, now correct me if I'm wrong, but the first episode was shot separately from the rest. Am I right?
That's right. The first episode was done a year before.
Okay.
I wanted to test it out, see how it goes, see if YouTube is worth it, and all that.
Right. Now, where did you put that? Was that set at your house, or where did you build the TARDIS set?
The set is, it's not in my house. It's at a small rental studio, but it's quite small,
Right.
And so, but I did build everything here at my house. So we took it over there, basically, put it together over there, rented it for 3 days.
Yeah.
And shot it. The second part of the movie was going to be on the outside, which was the desert.
Right.
And that was, which I've said it in interviews before, it was so hot when we shot it. It was like 120 degrees in the desert.
Yikes. Now, we're exactly...
And we were out there for 8 hours.
Oy.
So it was kind of tough.
I agree.
And people weren't getting paid, and only the cameraman was getting paid and the sound guy.
Right.
The rest were friends. And then after the release of it, I did the editing. I had somebody help me with the finishing editing and the color correction. I had somebody help me with the sound and the music. And then after I put it out, I'm like, well, and then I waited to see how it did, if it's a complete flop or not. And it did well.
Yeah.
I was surprised. There was very good many comments, and they liked it, and there's only a few people hated it. But I don't mind those, that's not the point.
Well.
So then I thought, okay, if I'm going to do the rest of the story, which is already pre-written, how am I going to pull it off? Am I going to do the same thing? Like, for instance, K9 was, cardboard.
Yeah, I'm sure you got one or two comments on your K9 prop.
Oh, I got more than two, yeah. So I had to have something in there, and I wanted to tie it in. I wanted to have that classic thing. I wanted the Tom Baker era or the Colin. So basically, I went after the Peter Davison era.
Right.
So that's why I wanted K9 to make it. Because if I was going to do something on the internet, I wasn't going to go and do something that's very contemporary, like trying to do something that David Tennant's doing,
Right.
There's no comparison. You can't. These shows are $1 million a piece.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want the... So I did want the classic, and that's what I grew up with, and that's what I loved anyway. And I think one of the things that I made sure that... Because, first of all, in production value-wise, it's hard to shoot something that's very fast-moving.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It requires a lot of shots.
Right.
And if you remember, in the 80s, things were a lot slower in Doctor Who. There wasn't all this running around.
Right.
Things developed a lot slower. There's a lot more acting time, and there's nobody running that much, only a few times,
Right.
So it would fit me better, and also because of the budget,
Right.
And
but the subsequent episodes were definitely a lot more action-packed.
They were, because I had a bigger crew.
Yeah.
I got more money. I actually got somebody to help me direct it.
Right.
His name was Chase White. I knew him from before, and I called him up and I said, hey, can you help me out with this? Because I'm going to have a lot on my mind. I need somebody behind the camera.
Right.
The second one, I wrote a lot more.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to write for 2 episodes. I'm going to shoot 2 at one time.
Okay.
But I wound up shooting so much more and writing so much more, I actually had enough for 4 episodes.
All right.
And I realized that the budget wasn't going to change that much.
Yeah.
So I said, let me shoot this whole thing and see how I can cut it, and it wound up being another extra 4, which is cool.
Right.
Just more out there and more time to develop the character.
Well,
like now, for instance, since it is so expensive to shoot, I'm moving to audio adventures for this year.
Right.
Give myself some time to develop the character that way, because Caroline's coming back to do that, which is great.
Right.
So it kind of keeps a flow. And it's going to be like adventures from before when they met and other stuff.
Okay, so I was going to ask. So this is not like part of the visual story. It'll just be
it'll be other stuff.
Other stuff. Okay, right.
That develops the character even further.
Right.
And that's where I'm going to do he's a slightly different character in the audio.
Okay.
I've refined him a little bit more in his speech, and I've had more time to write it. Some of the stories are going to be from other writers who's already written a story, and I'm adapting it to an audiobook.
Oh, okay, cool.
there's other people helping me out, which is great. The great thing about Facebook, which is where we met.
Yeah.
The great thing is there's people helping me with the audio series, like the poster. I had somebody make the logo. His name is Daniel, DJ Eric, they call him.
Right.
And then there's also, I don't know if you know him, John Tackett's. Tackett. So he's doing the poster for the audio for like the first one.
Oh, okay.
And then Eric Busby from Darker Projects, he's going to produce it.
Oh, okay.
So, and they do great stuff. And I've already done a lot of audio for Eric. So I talked to him about it, and he's like, oh, it'd be great to do it. So he's going to design everything, put the music in, put the sounds. I'm going to get everything recorded, all the actors recorded, send it to him, and then he can produce an audio series. And it will be very minimal cash to do it.
Yeah,
so that way I can keep it going without having to wait such a long period of time without anything coming out.
Right. So we still have episode 5 coming. That's part of the block you already shot.
That's right.
And then is there like a big cliffhanger at the end of that to go into the next stuff that you haven't shot yet?
It's more like an ending, really.
Okay.
Of that first part of this whole story of how the arc basically between Sam and the doctor.
Okay.
Of how she's at the first episode, she's asking him a question.
Right.
It basically starts off like, are we going to be together or not?
Right.
And he's like, no, I can't do it because you got to go because I live forever and you don't, and it's complicated, and what about children and all that stuff,
Right.
A love affair for the doctor. They don't do it in the real show because the show would end.
Right. Well, they tried.
They created that alternate reality for Rose to be with this. What was the doctor, but he's not.
Yeah, the
human.
10.5. A lot of people called him.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the only way to solve that part.
Right.
But anyway, in this one, this is a completely alternate. I can do whatever I want. So it solves that issue. Like he either says yes or no.
Well, because in episode 4, the doctor's communicating with this mysterious Alistair, who is telling him about these orbs, and it kind of sounded like a key to time kind of thing that you were setting up.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that was
like a key to time.
Yeah, I didn't know how much of that was going to be dealt with in episode 5, or if that's like the big arc for the next part of the story. You haven't filmed
in episode 5, he has to deal with the bad guy, Darth Steven.
Right.
First.
Right.
Because he's the first obstacle to everything. If he can't overcome this guy and get Sam back, there's a problem. So then he gets her back. Then he can go off and search for the first orb. So that'll be 3 episodes.
Okay.
1 orb, 2 orbs, 3 orbs ends the series.
Gotcha.
He has to catch all 3. At the end, it would solve that problem. But it would be a lot more expensive to shoot.
Sure.
So, it needs more time. More time to develop it, to do it right. Because, I'm taking it to the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you here about the crossovers, because every episode it's a new crossover, which I'm getting a big kick out of. Because not that many fan films try that, and I get a kick out of it. It was pretty obvious early on that you were crossing over with Star Wars, which has a huge fan base of its own, and I'm sure you're getting some Star Wars guys in, just based on your costumes and the plot elements and stuff.
Yeah.
But what was your inspiration to make this the mother of all crossover Doctor Who's?
I just thought that Doctor Who is the only one that can do it, you know?
Yeah.
Because of the way he travels.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool to have fans of different ones, because my brother only watches Star Trek. He doesn't care about Doctor Who.
Right.
So I thought about, why don't you have little bits of stuff for other fans, whether they like the series or not.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a joke thing, It's like, why not? I'm writing it.
Yeah.
I don't have to answer to anybody else. I'm paying for it. So,
they're going to do what you want.
You can see in episode 3, there's a Star Trek tie-in, right?
Yeah.
And that ties into Revan in the writing.
Okay.
Because that, because I don't know if people really follow it, that's one of the symbols that he can use to get Revan's attention.
Okay, right, gotcha.
Because Revan knows that symbol.
Right.
For some reason. And then it'll find out on number 5 what it is. the only way from even not killing him, really.
Right. No,
it's kind of difficult for, a Time Lord to beat a Jedi.
Well, yeah.
Or a Sith.
Well, I think, I think there's a whole faction of fandom, I think, that's going to get a big kick out of seeing the Doctor wielding a lightsaber, which I'm assuming we might see in Episode 5.
Yeah, you'll definitely see it.
Okay.
I can give that one away.
I was saying, we don't want to give too many spoilers, but I think you've kind of set that one up pretty obvious.
Does he wield the lightsaber? Sort of.
Sort of, okay.
I'd say it's sort of.
Sort of. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that.
But there are lightsabers, yes.
Okay, cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about your cast. Because I know Caroline, is it Morahan? Am I saying that right?
Caroline Morahan.
Yeah. Morahan. She's got like some credits in the UK as like a presenter. How did you?
She was a presenter in Ireland, actually.
Is Ireland? Okay.
It's called the Hodge and Podge Show.
Okay.
It's kind of a morning show, I think, or anyway, it's an interview show.
Okay.
But she moved here. I didn't know. And when I did the auditions, I just put a casting notice out. And her manager, I guess, Doctor Who caught his eye because he's from England.
Oh, right.
Or Ireland. He's like, what is this? So he kind of called me up and says, what are you doing, Like, this is not official, right? I'm like, no, it's not. It's just me and, a group of guys with a camera, and we're going to do a Doctor Who thing. And he's like, well, is it going to look good? And I showed him some stuff. What he would look like, or the things that I would use, and how much because he was talking about this actress from Ireland. I'm like, well, that's great, because I need somebody with an accent.
Yeah.
Even the American girls that I had come in had to do an accent for the audition.
Right.
So, and she has a natural one, but she came in, I think she was number 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she nailed it. I just knew. I'm like, okay, you really want to do this? I said, this pays very little, and
it's a lot of work.
I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you got other things going on, but she's like, no, it'd be great, just for she goes, even if it's just to send it to my dad, because he loves Doctor Who. I'm like, oh, it'd be great, okay. But I promise you it's going to look pretty decent. I said, it's not going to be your usual crap.
Yeah.
If you look on the internet, you'll
Was she into Doctor Who at all?
She was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
She did watch it, and she wasn't, an avid fan, but she knew about it. And of course, her brother's crazy about it, and her father was crazy about it.
Right. Of course, over there, it's like this gigantic cultural phenomenon, which we can't hardly even comprehend,
Yeah, and like, what is it here? I don't know. Star Wars, maybe?
Yeah, I guess, it's as big as Star Wars. I mean, I've got a lot of friends over in the UK, and, they're all saying, everywhere you turn, you're seeing David Tennant's face, and, now Matt Smith,
Yeah,
and Karen.
Whoever books the part there is pretty much national hero.
Yeah.
On the spot,
Yeah, so, it's I'm sure it must be kind of weird for just them to realize that, as big as America is, I mean, it's got a lot of fans here, but it's nothing like it is over there,
Yeah, maybe because they are more concentrated, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
They certainly love their shows.
Yeah.
I've always thought their shows were awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've always watched their shows and always much more intrigued. The only thing that really caught me here was Star Trek.
Yeah.
I never got into Battlestar Galactica and all the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that either.
She did that, yeah, she did, and she also continued on. She liked number 1, and I called her back up again. I said, what do you think of doing number 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, sure.
Well, it's good she was game for it, and she's kind of easy on the eyes. You can't argue too much about that, but she's great. She's very much classic companion mode, which is nice.
She's gorgeous, and also very, very good in camera.
Yeah, and let's see, there's also Emily Fletcher. Playing Zana.
I knew.
Another one, another girl, not too homely.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's really stunning.
Girl.
Yeah. But it's not just looks. It's a really fun performance. I mean, she
pretty much nailed it for what we wanted.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of levels from a Sith
yeah.
female.
Exactly, yeah.
There's only so much, and there's a lot in the writing, you know, and I don't have a lot of time to develop another character.
Right. Right.
You know, so she pops in and out. But she did a fantastic job. I've never heard from her again. She's off, I think, in New York somewhere. But she was a friend of the director's.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, what do you think? And we interviewed her, and she was great for it. And, you know, I shot, and she moved on, so I don't know where she's at with anything.
Well, you know.
The character's not coming back anyway in the arc of things.
Well, that's too bad. But
yeah.
Well, so I got to ask about that costume of hers. Did she go in for a body sculpt on that thing?
Well, she had the body, and I'm like, well, we gotta show this thing, because me and the director agreed, let's get some skin on this show.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we got the beautiful girls. We can audition any of them.
Yeah.
And we can get them here, and they will wear whatever we tell them, for the most part.
Right, right.
So we made it as skimpy as possible.
Yeah.
Basically. Because you know, any good sci-fi has good-looking women in it.
Yeah. That's always a plus for a fan film. Not every fan film has Hollywood talent at its disposal. Yeah. So you're making good use of that resource.
You just gotta hope they can act, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how about your your sisterhood? They all did. Actually, again, you know, I'm real impressed with the acting just in general in the production. I actually thought those three girls did it.
They were great.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
One happened to be a friend from a person in Facebook.
Okay.
And I just saw her hair and her face. I'm like, And she's like, used to put out little clips saying, I did this show and I did this show. I'm like, she's an actress. And so I emailed her directly and says, would you do it? And she was her schedule conflict, but we made it happen. And the other two girls I auditioned out of like a 15 that came in.
Yeah.
I picked basically the youngest and prettiest that could act.
Now, were those costumes created just for the show? Because they're so elaborate.
No, those were actually, the director knew a friend of his that sort of made these costumes and sold them at like Renaissance fairs.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So she was like, I'll let you use them if you put the credit on the film.
Oh, okay.
Which we did. It's in the back of the film.
Yeah.
You can see it. And so, yeah, we put those on. And the testing was fun. It was like, okay, what do we cover here? And they're like, am I going to be completely naked in this? I'm like, no.
That's not that kind of science.
Just don't wear big underwear, okay? 'Cause we gotta show the belly button, okay?
Don't wear big underwear. I like that.
Don't wear grandmother underwear because this stuff is not gonna cover.
Yeah, no granny pants on set.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I used to joke around. It's like in the Star Wars universe, they don't wear underwear. So we were trying to just don't wear anything and we'll put the stuff on top.
Yeah.
We're kidding around. But we had a good day of testing, you know.
Yeah.
I think we even had beers at that day. Okay, let's make this fun. So they all came over to my house and we tried things on and we're like, should we do capes?
Yeah.
Should we do not capes? And this and that. And eventually we figured out some stuff. And
right.
They sort of came out like nymphs.
Yeah.
A little bit nymphy, a little bit fairy.
Yeah.
I don't know about very Star Wars.
Well, yeah, maybe not, but who cares?
You know, Star Wars, I think it would have leather and some kind of armor.
Yeah.
You know, but that's hard to build and very costly.
Right.
So,
well, give me an idea of like the pilot that you did first, or the first episode. How long did that one take to shoot?
How long did it take to shoot? I mean, the actual. You're talking about...
Like how many days did you spend actually shooting it?
Days?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
The first one was 3.
3 days, okay.
3 full days.
And then when you came back, did you basically... so that when you came back, the rest of it, which you ended up cutting into the other 4 episodes...
I shot that for 6 days straight.
6 days. Really? Just 6 days? Because it's pretty elaborate with a lot of different locations. I'm impressed that was only 6 days.
All planned out and... 6 full days.
Now, where was that amazing industrial location you used?
That was an incredible find. I did so much research to find it, and I looked around for decay photography.
Yeah.
And then when I clicked, and it went to a site like Flickr, and you have these guys making the little comments.
Right.
They're like, oh, yeah, I shot this in Ojai, or near Ojai.
Yeah.
Another guy from the same thing shot it in an oil refinery. So then I started doing a search, and I actually found it with Google Earth.
Oh, really?
I got the general area of where a refinery was.
Yeah.
It was like on Highway 30 between Ojai and Route 1, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, if I go there and I zoom in, because it's like an hour and 20 minutes from my house.
Okay, right.
So then I zoomed in, and it got really close, and I could see a refinery.
Oh, wow.
In the same type of color that the pictures that I saw, and then I found it.
Oh, wow.
And I took a drive out, and I drove out, and I found it.
Was it still something that was functioning, or was it like an abandoned thing?
No, this has been abandoned since 1978.
Oh, wow.
Or 84.
Did you have to get, like, permission to shoot there, or did you just go and shoot?
Well, in order, to spot it out, no, but I can notice there's a truck driving around, and you can tell there's probably a caretaker. So I called numbers, and I did all that. And then I went back with the director about 3 months later, when I was getting more ready to shoot, to finalize where we're going to shoot this. You know, it's going to be at the beach, it's going to be at the refinery. Then there was a guy there. He was a guard, basically. And I bribed him. I said, I'll give you $200 a day if you let me shoot here for 3 days.
Yeah.
I just don't tell anybody.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, okay, you can only shoot on Saturday and Sunday. And so, all right, just come in, I'll open the gate for you, and I'll be out in the front, the whole time. I'm like, cool. So I just handed this guy cash.
Hey.
And he's like, thanks, man. And, you can't pay for that kind of, really.
Production value, yeah.
That kind of location it would cost minimum $2,000 a day.
Oh, yeah.
To shoot. And they shot music videos there. They've shot films.
Oh, yeah.
Like a war film was shot there, and he was like, oh, yeah, it's $2,000.
Well, that definitely...
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I got one camera, 3 actors. Come on, I'll give you $200. I'll just be out of your hair. I'm not going to need anything from you. Just let me in and let me out.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
That's funny. That's funny.
You'll make $600.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
He looked around, and he's like, okay. He goes, if the boss comes around, don't say you're here for money. I didn't see you.
Right.
You guys are going to, you just come back another week,
Right.
I'm like, okay, we got to need plan B, because I can't shoot half of it.
Right.
And then get kicked out and not have the other half the shots to match.
Right.
I'm like, you do realize I'd have to come back again. And he's like, yeah, okay. So.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, that lends an amazing amount of production value to your show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Now, where in the desert did you shoot that first part?
That first part was near Barstow, California. It's a dry lake bed.
Oh, okay.
And there's a bunch of them there, but that one's the best one.
Oh, okay.
And they shoot a lot of commercials there. You notice. Sometimes car commercials, you look at the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Where those cars are running down these flat areas with dust behind them.
Yeah, right.
If you look down, you'll see it's cracked.
Yeah, okay.
And it's all dry lake beds, really, really flat.
Right.
I don't know how it got so flat, but they're like extremely flat.
Huh.
It's unbelievable.
That's wild. It's definitely very striking. Again, I think this is one of the advantages you've got, just, being where you're at. You got a great talent pool you can pull off of, and just all these great locations that,
It'd be really cool, though, because they have ghost towns here, some of these western ghost towns.
Oh, yeah.
But those are run by people, and it's like attractions, and I can't just go in and shoot.
Right.
But it'd be great, like the doctor who, shows up at a ghost town.
That would be cool.
That's another thing. But how many plans can I come up with is kind of difficult.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about the doctor's costume, which is pretty striking. Is that the coat in particular? Was that something that was made for the shoot, or did that already exist?
Yeah, it sort of existed, but it had another bottom piece to it.
Oh, okay.
It was for a Halloween costume. It's not cut right exactly, and
well, it looks really good on screen.
It's not as thick as I'd wanted it to be.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But that was taking. Just a coat alone could probably, take me, $1,000 to get a coat.
Well, yeah. You can definitely spend that kind of money if you want to.
I like it's blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And I just kept it all dark, the whole suit.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had like a conceptual reason that the doctor's in very dark clothes.
Well, he's kind of like he's in a dark stage of his life.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's what you were shooting for.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. He's and also there's no frizzles or anything. He's very. I thought if he's very efficient.
Yeah.
Right, and so some of the parts of the character. Another part of it is that when writing it, I thought, okay, well, if this is a different type of personality, it's more American. You know, Americans are a little more rough.
Yeah.
You know, they're not as refined as the English. You know.
Right.
So it's okay to have a rougher character. And how would he feel after dealing with? Let's say you've already beaten about 50 bad guys.
Yeah.
Right, really powerful ones.
Right.
And you get arrested, and you get lasers pointed at you every single time. Right? Yeah. You get shackled, thrown in prison, you get beaten, you get interrogated. So I'm like, what if mine just kind of got tired of it?
Yeah.
Got a little bit tired of it. Like, it doesn't have the patience anymore for a guard putting take me to your leader, fine. But if the guy just pokes you with the gun, then I'm like, okay, I've had enough of you guys, you know?
Yeah.
So, at least the little ones, you know, the small guards. And
right.
So then I thought, why don't he just fight him?
Yeah.
He just gets rid of them as fast as possible and just runs away. He doesn't try to extremely hurt them, just disable them.
Right.
So we thought of putting that in there. I'm like, oh, that'd be great. Let's do something really quick. Boom, boom, boom. He's done. He's out.
Yeah.
And he has to, signal the girl.
Right.
For that fighting. And also, that's why I didn't want any ruffles on that.
Right.
And he also wears a black shirt.
So he's basically just he's kind of just sick of taking crap from everybody, and he's just gonna
on a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
and
he can't keep track of a 15-foot scarf anymore.
Yeah, like the other one, Peter Davison had the Colin Baker had the flowered coat.
Yeah.
And Sylvester McCoy had the umbrella and the hat.
Yeah.
Colin Baker the coat, Peter Davison has the celery, and the hat that he folds all the time.
Right.
So they had stuff to play with, but that's why in the first one I put the cane in there.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to give a little homage to the first one.
Right.
And the cane's coming back.
Oh, okay, good. I kind of liked the cane, yeah.
Cane's coming, but it got lost, because I got zapped away from that spot, and the cane doesn't go with you.
Right.
And she never got out of the TARDIS to go grab it.
Exactly.
It has to come back in a certain way later. It's like, some kind of magical way it'll be back. Maybe in the last shot of the next episode.
Right. There you go.
Or number 6 or something like that. So I'll fit it in, but it's something I want to keep.
Oh, cool.
About it.
Well, let me ask you about your full-size TARDIS, because that's pretty cool too. And I think you told me in an email that it was only finished on 2 sides.
Well, the exterior, yes.
Yeah.
The box is a 2-sided box.
Yeah. Which I always thought was smart. I always thought more fan guys should do that. I mean, everybody's so intimidated by building this full-size thing out of wood. And I always thought, well, you can never see more than 2 sides at once anyway. Why not?
Really.
Yeah.
You may be, if you do a crane shot, you might see.
Right.
And the top part.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally the 4th side, actually.
Yeah.
But considering my budget and who's going to help me and how many guys it takes to carry one of those.
Yeah.
It takes 3 guys to lift one door.
Yeah.
So it's very heavy. And we have to attach the doors and they don't move. And if you notice in the first one, which is very hard, I don't know if I probably cut it out, but a lot of the shots we were shooting, there was so much wind at the 2 sides, since it wasn't a whole box, it was shaking.
Oh, right.
Because of the wind, so I had to wait till the wind dies down so I can get out the thing without the thing moving.
All right. So did you build that yourself, or?
I built it myself. Yeah. Just like I did the interior too.
Yeah. So you're just a Renaissance man, Julian.
Yeah, I got a few skills, so I thought I'd put them all together.
Well, this is
I can do editing. I can do lighting.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do the lighting, but I can do it.
Right.
I can also do music editing, and I can do hopefully acting.
Yeah, most of the music is it all original? I mean, obviously the theme is the classic theme music, but other than that, your score is all original, is it not?
Some of it is.
Oh, some of it?
Some of it is original, some of it is not. Some of it is like a bought program.
Oh, okay.
They pay a certain amount of money, and they have 500 songs.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
And it's instrumental, it's sound effects, you get all kinds of stuff.
Okay, I gotcha.
But those are free. Once you buy them, they're yours to use. You know?
Oh, okay. All right. But at least you're not reusing the Doctor Who series music, aside from just the theme song.
Aside from the theme. So there's been a lot of work that I've done on this stuff, and it's all because I wanted to create a piece of artwork.
Yeah.
Really. Which was a show and character that I loved. And, I got some, for instance, on part 4, John Hutch, he did the voice for Alistair,
Okay.
And he's a friend of mine through Facebook.
Oh, okay.
He does his own Doctor Who stuff.
Oh.
But he has a fantastic English voice, and he was like, I said, you're perfect for this. So he just sent it to me from there, and I just matched it up and added some effects.
Yeah, no, he did a great job. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, so any funny stories from any of the filming? I don't want to cut into your blooper reel that you might eventually put out, but.
Oh my God, yeah, there probably is some blooper.
Any good anecdotes?
The funny stories, it's probably on any real sci-fi show, is doing lines while you're touching any of the screen stuff, like the consoles.
Oh, right.
Because even in Star Trek or any of the real shows, if you talk to like some of these actors, which I have sometimes,
yeah,
it's the biggest pain in the ass is to actually do lines and figure out what you're going to do in the console. And the console makes noises like wood noises.
Right.
Like if you bang on it with your foot, for instance, it'll go crack. It's like it's not a metal.
Right.
It's not a metal sound. So it's like, and so my set, for instance, the TARDIS set, sometimes I would be doing lines and I would rehearse without touching the buttons, and then when it came time to shoot, I started going, and I'm like, I just realized I said the line while I turned this thing.
All right.
So that didn't work. And then sometimes I would turn a button, it would come off.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I don't know how many times I hit the edge of that thing.
Oh, right.
Because it's a very tight space, and you're trying to move around, and if you're not used to the space of it, I hit my leg on the corners of it.
Oh, right.
So the whole thing got picked up and went BAM! So, the lights went off.
Yeah.
We had to reset the lights on the inside. The buttons popped off because it's not even made of wood. It's made of foam core.
Okay, right. Oh, wow, really? It looks really good for foam core.
On a wood setting,
yeah.
Then it's foam core on the outside.
Okay, gotcha.
So any hits, like basically if I put my hand on it and like really push, I would dent it.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of line flubbing when I was doing controls because I couldn't remember my lines.
Yeah.
Because of so many buttons that I was trying to fix. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the thing, and what am I supposed to do when I do this? It just requires a lot of rehearsal time, and I didn't have it. Yeah. Because I was building so much till the last minute because I had to do so much on my own. Right. I left very little time for rehearsal when it came to the buttons. Right. Well, experience. You'll get better with experience. Caroline, she on part 2, she had to swing the pipe. Oh yeah, to hit Zana. Hits the girl. Yeah. Yeah. And so she's grabbing the pipe, and she's not a good swinger. No matter how many times we tried to get her to swing, and then one time she swung and she hit a light. Oh. So it's like bam. I mean, stuff like that, mishaps and like the guards. If you notice the guards, like in the fighting, we did the fighting sequence. We didn't get it right the first time. Yeah. So after I kicked one in the chest, it cracked the chest plate in half. The costume, right. Yeah, so if you notice one of the shots you cut in, it's already cracked, So things would fall apart literally after, 3 takes. Yeah. And so that's the tough part about, shooting cheap. You don't have backup suits. You don't have people sitting there waiting to fix things. It would be me,
Right. Well, I think most people will probably be surprised to learn that you actually paid some of your crew and such, because that's definitely going the extra mile for a fan production.
Yeah. Well, first of all, first thing in LA, which for the most part it works, is you get what you pay for.
Right.
Really, if you don't pay a cinematographer, you're going to get the crappiest lighting.
Yeah.
Unless your best friend happens to be a cinematographer.
Right.
And he's your buddy, and he'll do it, and he knows his lighting. And the sound guy knows his sound, and it's your buddy. Otherwise, you're going to get a guy who's done one student film and says, yeah, I want to get experience, and then getting experience in your film, and then all of a sudden you realize, all the voice levels were off.
Yeah.
You can't even hear the girl, but you can hear the guy.
Yeah.
So it's, stuff like that. So I had to make sure that I paid everybody. And I want it to be an actual production. I want it to be, don't do me a favor. I got that one from the first one.
Yeah.
The second one is people need to get paid for what they do.
Right.
Especially if they know how to do it.
Right. So, okay.
I would do the same thing. I worked many times on film productions as a grip or lighting and they needed to pay me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's nothing wrong with getting paid for doing good work.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons people don't do very good fan films.
Yeah.
There's been a few, and I've seen that were great, but you can see they put money into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're going to do something that is real zero money, you can see it.
Right. Yeah.
Do some kind of animation at home or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, to me, I'm enough of a fan of just fan films in general that some of them it's okay that it's just kind of a backyard production, and if they've got a lot of enthusiasm, and sometimes it's okay, but it's sort of painful when they try to imitate the real series with no money. And
if I didn't have money, I would try to be serious.
Yeah.
I think I'd be in the comedy. I'd do it spoof.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
That's the only thing I would try to attempt with no cash.
Yeah. So we got part 5 coming in pretty soon.
Yeah.
You're wrapping up post on that.
Yeah, it's got to go through color correction again.
Okay. And then that has sort of an ending, but then we got the next part of the production, which hopefully you'll be able to shoot in a few months or a year or so.
In the future, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully not too distant future.
3 additional stories that would conclude.
Okay.
The alternate Empire series.
And are you going to keep those?
The audio stuff is going to be called Legacy.
Okay, gotcha.
It'll be called Doctor Who Legacy.
So
there's legacy before and after this particular,
Gotcha. Right. Are you going to, because I know recently YouTube has expanded their limit to 15 minutes. Are you going to shoot for slightly longer episodes on the last 3?
Yeah, well, that came about after I shot.
Yeah, I know.
It's interesting. I was like, man, I was looking for that. And then I was like, I'd rather just keep it the way I was going to edit in the first place.
Yeah.
Not complicated by...
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably. I would probably, because I could write quite a bit. Or I think I would the next ones, I'm going to get help writing it.
Yeah.
Get somebody to watch it, a friend of mine that can write, and just get help in the beginning part of it so I can concentrate on other things.
Yeah. You can't do everything, even if you try.
I got locations already that I can shoot the next episode. It's like a train station, and there's an old church and the graveyard. It's very Harry Potter-like.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So, he's going to go up against wizards. It's going to be special effects, so it's got to be done right.
Right. Well, that sounds cool. Okay, now, can we look forward to even more crossovers? Are there other franchises that may pop up in the later?
It might be hints of things.
Yeah.
I wanted to put hints of stuff, not completely go into the Star Trek world, for instance.
Right.
Because that's a whole other look. And,
right.
And I pull that off here, and how much money would it require to do that?
Yeah.
So it really depends. I have the outline of the stories, but I don't have it written yet. So
right.
I could, as I'm writing, I'm like, why don't we stick a little bit of...
Because, we're dying for that Doctor Who Lost in Space crossover, dude.
Oh, you want a Lost in Space in there?
You gotta make some mention of the Jupiter 2 in there somewhere.
That would actually be pretty cool. Like the Danger Will Robinson.
Somebody out there has got to have one of those full-size robots you could borrow.
Hey, you have no idea where they are.
That's right. They're lost. They could be anywhere.
You could run across them or something. Logan's Run.
Yeah, Logan's Run. That'd be a good one. I actually know of... I know of one fan film that has a very brief Space 1999 crossover.
I would love to have a Judge Dredd.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
There's a new movie coming out anyway.
Yeah.
But I've always thought, what if he's doing something and in the background you'll see Batman go from one building to the next and that's it.
That would be hilarious.
Happens to be in the same city.
Yeah.
And you just see this Bat guy go from one thing, or Spider-Man,
right,
from one building to the next in the background.
That would be hilarious.
You don't mention it, you don't do anything. It's just, he's doing his own movie. So he's got his own thing going on right now.
That would be hilarious.
Or you could put anything. I mean, it'd be just kind of fun, like X-Men.
Yeah, something. Just something. Yeah, like you said, just something that flutters through the background that you don't even cut to.
Some guy he bumps into on the street, and then the claws come out of his hand. But he has a hat on, so you can't see his face.
Right.
He's like, careful, bub.
There you go.
And it's Wolverine. Like,
there you go.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Maybe you could even get Hugh Jackman in to do the cameo.
I'm going to try. I'll get like 5 things in there. I think. I'd be for 5. Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
There we go, yeah.
I'm going to call him up.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
Lives close by. I probably have about 100 major actors that live close by.
Oh, really?
But I never see them. I mean, I see them once in a while.
Yeah, like at the edge of their driveways or something.
I take my kids to the playground, and I see them all the time.
Oh, okay.
And every time I go to this one restaurant near my house, what's her name is there? Hillary Swank.
Oh, yeah.
So, about 8 weeks ago?
Yeah.
8 to 10 weeks ago, I bought her breakfast.
Oh, that was nice of you.
I picked up the check. I'm like, I don't think she needs anybody picking up her check.
Right.
I'm like, she's like, thank you so much. I'm like, well, you're fantastic, so it's the least I can do.
Hey, you won an Oscar. You won an Oscar. Have a free breakfast.
I can buy you some eggs.
That's pretty funny. That is.
And the other day, 2 weeks ago, it was Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah.
And he's sitting behind me. I'm with my son, and he has a script in his hand. So you see him around here all the time.
Was that before or after he won the Oscar?
Batman's behind me. It's ridiculous.
Was that before or after he won the Oscar?
He won an Oscar?
Oh yeah.
Before.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago.
This is before, yeah.
Just this past show.
Yeah,
okay.
That's right. He had the look of that movie.
Yeah, the wrestling movie or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't look like Batman. He looked thinner. He buffs out and then he thins out.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's gonna wreck his nervous system if he keeps doing that stuff.
Slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
I should have just turned around and handed him a DVD.
There you go.
What do you think of this, Bob?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, let me ask you about the DVD. Are you going to do a DVD at the end of episode 5? Are you going to put one out?
Yes, sir.
And now, I think I asked you this question on an email once before. Are you going to recut episode 1 with the K9 prop?
It's been done.
It's been done already, okay.
It's been done, yes. It was 2 weeks ago. The new K9, new voice. Once it's out there, it's on YouTube, right? So basically now it's a link.
Yeah.
It's a link for, so if there's hits or no hits, it's fine,
Yeah.
The idea is to get it to the right people.
Yeah.
To view it and say, okay, you don't happen to be like a superstar in YouTube, but you do a really good job on the part. And so here's maybe a part that you could play.
Right.
And that would be the ticket. So basically, the idea is to get it to a few people that would be in that position. So basically it would be, Stephen Moffat.
I think it's Moffat, yeah.
Stephen Moffat, and I can't say his name wrong, and then still try to get a DVD film right. And so it would be to give it to Stephen Moffat, and
So it's basically like a calling card.
Russell T. Davies, you know, and Julie Gardner.
Yeah, which they're in L.A. now, so hey.
That's right, they're in L.A., yeah. Hopefully I can get it to them somehow.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to say, listen, maybe you could do 3 lines or 5 lines on Torchwood.
Yeah, there you go.
So that would be the ultimate goal.
That would be fun to see you on Torchwood. That would be cool. That would actually make me watch Torchwood maybe again.
Maybe just a homeless guy that they kind of run across. And then I could just say, okay, at least I got Torchwood out of it.
Yeah, there you go. Anything else that you want to tell me about Alternate Empire that we haven't talked about?
Tell you about Alternate Empire. Just to keep, if they do any of the research or following, that I will be doing the audio series, and I will release them not just on iTunes, because you can do it for free. Yeah. I will also put them into my YouTube page.
Oh, okay.
As an actual video. Yeah. But that would have images, or maybe it's just black, but you can hear the audio.
Right.
It's just that it's going to be available. And that's the way I'm looking forward to developing my personal doctor.
Right.
It gives me more time to do it. The writing is more in line with, because in video, it's sometimes only what I can shoot.
Right.
So then I have to adapt the story to the interior instead of be an expansive beach scene.
Right.
And things that I couldn't accomplish, and the workload. Sometimes it might make me a little stiffer in certain parts.
Yeah.
With audio, I'll be able to develop it more and see exactly what I wanted in the first place.
Right. And once you do these 3 episodes to sort of conclude this storyline, are you thinking about another whole arc after that, or you think that's just going to be your thing?
I'm going to keep going as long as I can.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great.
It's something I want to do. So if I can have 20 episodes of something, then I'm going to keep playing the same. I'm going to keep playing the Doctor.
Awesome, man.
I can always do a detective series. I was going to do a detective series one time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just, if I can get more of this going, the better for me. The more I leave behind.